Now, completely between us, and you can please, what was the...
We're live, by the way.
Oh, we're live. Perfect. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I had a good run.
Hello, this is Judd. Today, Alex and I are joined by the one and only Tom Scharpling. Tom is an accomplished TV writer and producer of shows such as Monk, What We Do in the Shadows, and Steven Universe. He directs music videos for bands such as MGMT, and for 25 years has been the host of The Best Show, and it really is. He also happens to be a huge Elmore Leonard fan. We had a great time talking with him about Elmore, Freaky Deaky in particular, and so much more. Please enjoy and get ready for Tom Scharpling. Tom, we talked about Freaky Deaky, but we don't need to limit ourselves to Freaky Deaky. But one of the ways we get the conversations going is just like, when did you first discover Elmore? What was it that, grabbed you, that made you want to read more of his stuff? I mean, I'm assuming you've read more than Freaky Deaky, but maybe...
Yeah, I have. Now I've read a whole bunch. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the actual first one would have been that got me in the door. I think it was the Out of Sight Riding the Rap duo that was the first stuff I read. Once I read those, then I was just all in, and she just became kind of like my guy from that point. And then, because they're like the perfect books where they would be people who like crime fiction, they know the stature and they know how great the stuff is, but the books are always, you can always just get one wherever, was always the exciting. Like, you could just, if you're at the airport, you can get an Elmore Leonard book if you need something to read. So they were like the axis of being commercially accessible and available, and just so outstandingly great artistically. It was just like it's a sweet spot that hardly anybody ever gets to be in.
Elmore would complain about the bestseller list. He'd pick out, the random things and be like, "Can you believe these are the books that sell?" And I'd say, "But Elmore, you're on the bestseller list too." And he'd say, "That's different." Yeah,
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Tom, what is it about Freaky Deaky that delights you so much?
This is the third time I've read it. I'm pretty sure it's the third time.
Oh, well.
It's kind of an interesting one because the main character is kind of like not nearly as cool as characters are in the books. Like, he's like literally living at home with his father.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. It's just like he's driving his dad's car all over, and people are like implying a certain amount of status to him because he's got this nice Cadillac, and it's not his. It's literally it's a guy in his 40s driving his dad's car around town. It's so much like kind of about the past, and I know the past is always such a big theme for so much of the Elmore Leonard catalog, but in this one it really is like people looking back about who they were, and kind of there's like a melancholy quality to it that I really like. And there's also, it kind of, once it starts, I think it has so many great moving parts to it that it just like after the first like 40 pages, you really can't put it down, because it moves so smartly and effectively and surprisingly, and it's just, I just think it has certain things that are the best versions of what you want from Elmore Leonard books.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Chris. I mean, and I've read the book several times myself, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Each time I read it, it's not that I like Chris less, but his situation is more pronounced, each time. But Rubin is there and Donnell is there, and I think they are two of Elmore's best characters ever.
Mm-hmm. Reading it this time, though, I had a different read on Chris, kind of going in 2025 thinking like, oh, I don't want this to be kind of like a copsploitation book. And reading it now, it's like, I don't think it is at all. I think he's like kind of a bad cop, and he's like ogling Greta. I think it's like it's not just gray area. Like I think he's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, he's his faults are like pronounced, and they're not kind of masked by being clever and kind of winning scenes the way a lot of other characters win scenes in books.
He doesn't win many. I mean, I think the one time where I really liked him was early on in the book, where he makes Danelle drive him and Greta and Woody to jail because he can't get Woody out of the back of the car. That was a great move. But for the most part, he's catching up, and Rubin is driving most of the action. I mean, she's really driving all the action, but Danelle has his own. Just between the two of them, and they're carrying everything. And but there's some interesting things. Alex, remind us. Like this came out. So this came out after Out of Sight.
No, this was 80s. This was published in 88.
This was 80s. I'm sorry.
Yes. And this comes out of Elmore wrote a piece for the Detroit News called "Impressions of Murder." It's like he tailed like the Homicide Squad. The title comes from that piece. One of the guys, he's quoted it, paraphrased in this book that people were doing the Freaky Deaky. So he got a lot of that material for City Primeval from doing that piece, but then he went back and hung out with the Bomb Squad for this. So there's mixes of the Homicide Squad plus the Bomb Squad guys he hung out with for research.
Who did he hang out with to learn about acid?
I don't know, actually. I think he read like a bunch of books about like 60s like burnouts and stuff like that. That's one aspect I think is interesting of the book too. I think it kind of predates a lot of that like nostalgia for the 60s. People kind of stuck in the past, especially with Mark, talking about that Goose Lake Music Festival, and like saying like remember the Doors, like. For being 88, I'm like he's kind of on the cusp of that guy.
Yeah, what was his actual knowledge of that kind of music?
I don't think very much. I mean, he was the generation before, so that's kind of why it's extra interesting to me. Like I'm sure he knew about popular bands and stuff, but he's not like going to music festivals.
Sure, because the MC5 are mentioned in the book and the Stooges are mentioned. Yeah. It's just such an interesting thing because that's such a backbone of Detroit, but
he did meet Iggy.
Okay.
Then Iggy Pop's mentioned in here, like the details of like, oh, Iggy performed at this venue. That's because he went to that venue and saw Iggy a few months before. Actually, there's a kind of funny story. He said after the show, he asked Iggy Pop, I saw you stage diving. Like, aren't you afraid you're gonna like hurt yourself? And Iggy said, No, I write my phone number on a little piece of paper and I stage dive to the prettiest girl and I give it to her. And he said, that's how I met my ex-wife.
Who, Elmore said that or Iggy said that?
Iggy said that.
Oh.
But that's like, to me, like hearing Elmore say that, I was like, that is the most tailored for Elmore story.
Yeah.
Wait, Tom, did you know anything about this Goose Lake Festival?
I've known about it just because like there was I think Third Man just put that Goose Lake album out a bunch of years ago. And it's something I knew of. I don't have a strong working knowledge of it, but I had heard of it. Because was it 71?
Yeah, the year after Woodstock. Would that be 71 or 70?
It'd be 70. I think Woodstock was 69. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those names you hear when people are telling stories about crazy festivals from the past. That Goose Lake was one of the names I would always hear.
Yeah, I was looking it up just because one of the guys who put it on is, what's his name? Russ Gibb, I think. And he's like the guy who ran the Grandy Ballroom, which was like classic Detroit venue where, like MC5 recorded their live record. Like Stooges played there, Third Power played there. But he's also known for popularizing the like Paul is Dead. I mean, is it a conspiracy theory?
Oh, okay.
I find it very funny though, that's what the guy's known for, just like a bogus story.
Yeah, but that shadow of all that stuff hangs over everybody in this book. And there's also just like, it's kind of like a book that's like driven by like inaction in a lot of ways. Because like you just have like Woody is like he's like the opposite of a character in a thing. He's just this blob who is just so brain addled that.
Yeah.
but he's in control of everything.
It's kind of surprising when he has dialogue.
Yeah.
When he starts speaking, it's like, oh, I didn't know he could talk.
No, and just to have that guy be the intersection point for everybody, and everybody wants what he has, and he has all this money that he's not even in touch with what he's got. He's too brain dead to realize what he's got, and everybody wants it, and he has it. It's just like it is such a switch in a way that it is like it's not like nobody's really kind of cool in this book in so many ways, right? I mean, like who would be unimpeachably cool in this book?
I mean, the closest is Donnell.
I would say Donnell.
Yeah, but even he's now he's
a butler.
He's looking after this slob, and he's running a nursing home. He's not
right.
cool. He's just like beholden to this guy and any whim he has.
Yeah, but it's part of his plan. He's getting into the will. It's his plan.
Feels like
you see?
The plan that's never going to happen is the other thing. Like it's just like he just wants to. Like when Robin says that we can keep doing this.
Yeah.
Then that's like such an eye-opening moment for him to realize it's just like, oh, we don't have to just rip him off once. I could keep going back to the well every year or two. And yeah, and it's also just like, you know, Alex, well, when he has like, there are certain fascinations that clearly seem like they're Elmore's fascination of just like somebody writing under a different name and writing these like quickie knockoff like franchise books and then selling them to movies. It's like that's the stuff that's on his head.
Oh, for sure. I think some of it says so it's an excuse for him to write like a sentence or two that's in that style. I think he would find that fun. But no, you're completely right. We just read Cuba Libre, and there's this newspaper reporter who just has the most florid, overwritten style, and there's just like almost pages worth of the guy's writing in there, just as an exercise of like that same thing.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's one of the interesting things. He always manages to like his fascinations make it into the books.
For sure. That's something we talk about most episodes. We also talk about the kind of character connections. You know, like in this one, there's a few, like Donnell's mentor in the Black Panthers is Cochise Patterson, who's in Gold Coast. He's like one of the robbers in that. And there's Moselle. You know, there's a few of them like that. But it kind of reminds me of the world building. Like,
yes.
There's so many books connected that there's this like interconnected Elmore world. It kind of reminds me of Springfield, like with The Simpsons, or like Newbridge. Like you have that, you know, very intricate world at this point that you've spent like 20 years building up. Now, I always wondered with Elmore, like, you know, it's pretty, like if somebody goes to prison, then they'll show up like when their prison sentence is out, or, you know, he definitely kept notes on this kind of stuff. Is that something that you do as well? Do you have like a Bible for?
Not really for our stuff. Our thing is so much more surreal and not grounded in reality that we can just hit refresh on things if we want to serve whatever idea we have. We just change it with a good dose of unreality because it's about the next funny thing we can do, and we don't want to be chained to so much mythology. And that is it's such a interesting point because there is mythology to this world and there is world building, but it's never just a priority. It feels like it's a fun thing that if you catch it, you catch it, but if you don't, you're perfectly fine also. Like you can read any of the books, and if there's somebody, it seems like they're talking about somebody who maybe they're slightly more familiar with, it's just like it doesn't deny you anything to not know everything.
For sure. Yeah, it seems like it's fun if you've read multiple books that you pick up on it, but yeah, it's not gonna like, you don't miss a single thing in the book.
Yeah, it's not Lord of the Rings or anything like that where you're like, I can't follow this because I don't know who this person's grandfather is.
No, I know Elmore would just be like, oh, I wonder what this guy's up to. So that's why he'd plop him down or plop a reference in. Is that similar to when you're just, you just like a certain character? So you're like, you know what, we'll bring him back.
Yeah, just makes us laugh. And we're just like, that's funny. Oh, it could be that person. And we just throw them back into the mix. And, you know, sometimes we make it seem like a character's dead, and then, no, they're not. So we can play a little more fast and loose with things.
I mean, Elmore does that as well. There's a guy who gets shot in, La Brava. He gets shot 3 times in his chest, and then 30 years later, he lived. You know, it's like, sure, why not? Yeah.
Medical technology improved in the ensuing years, and he's fine.
Yeah.
So, no, but I mean, you mentioned Moselle, and like when she comes back and out of sight, like she is a different person. I mean, she's barely in this book at all, but you remember her because of the great opening. You know, she's in the great opening chapter. That's been much homage has been paid to that.
The polite way of putting it, homaged. Liberated. It was liberated for what was that? Was that Lethal Weapon
2?
The big one was Lethal Weapon 2.
Which is funny that Lethal Weapon is referenced in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what's even weirder is, you know, Skip watches that movie Straight Time on TV. Have you ever seen that one, Tom? Great movie. I mean, Elmore loved that movie. But this co-writer of Straight Time wrote Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting.
It's like some very strange nested layers of like, all right, why did this happen?
I mean, I will say this about Skip, where I like him more each time I read the book. Like at first, I wasn't a huge fan, but I actually think he'd be a pretty good hang out of everybody. Tom, who would you want to road trip?
All the time. He's
not all the time. I mean, like much of the
400
time.
condoms.
But there's a line. Well, there's a line he has. I think before he finds out that Danelle is back, and you know his jealousy, I think gets the best of him. But when he's alone with Robin, I think he's pretty good. But Tom, if you had to go on a road trip and you had to pick 3 of the Freaky Deaky characters, so we've got Chris, Robin, Danelle, Greta, Woody, really anybody's on the board, but you can only pick 3, and you're driving from.
Do I have to pick 3? It's like
max of 3. Max of 3.
What's the minimum?
The minimum is.
I don't know if I want to be in a car with any of them.
Minimum is 1.
Uh-huh.
Minimum is 1, but you're going to another character's house.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, Greta seems nice in the thing, and she's kind of. Sometimes she's like the only one who's like working to figure out what she wants to do with her life and actually trying to do something with it. Yeah. Like people aren't making changes in this that aren't selfish or greedy.
Well, there's also, I mean, you have, especially Robin and Skip, they're in a good spot. Skip's working, he's making money in the movies, he's fine. Robin is a successful historical romance novelist. Her mom has a nice place. I presume she could crash with her mom if he really wanted to. So they're deciding to do this.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And they don't need to. Like, they're not coming at it from a place of desperation. They're coming at it from a place of petty revenge.
Well, they can't let go of the past, and that's so much of what this book is. People who can't let go of the past, and they're literally going to die because they can't let go of the past.
Yeah,
like it will be their undoing.
Yeah. Okay, but sorry, we did. So basically, we got Greta.
So Greta's in the car. I don't know.
She does have that one line where she's kind of racist, where she says she's trying to move, but she called a colored neighborhood by accident. It seems pretty deliberate to me, that among all of Elmore's books, that's kind of like the rattiest group.
Like there's an ugliness to everybody in this one, because even Chris throws a couple things around that are like kind of, mid-level racism. Like
he's on the margin, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's such a.
So why do you like the book so much?
I think because of this stuff. I think it's just like it's such a. Well, just look, the idea of bombs and stuff is such a fascinating angle on something, and then just having it run through radicals like this who all had different motives even then. People are even saying just like, you were barely dedicated to the cause. You just wanted to go get laid and see bands and things like.
Yeah.
It's really one of the again, like I said, once it gets started, it really is like a hornet's nest of characters, and they're all turning on each other and trying to figure out how they can win the situation, and they have no real allegiance to anybody. Like, everybody will sell anybody else out in this to win.
Well, I don't think Chris sells out Greta. I mean, he certainly has ulterior motives.
I mean, he sells her out by basically dating her when he's supposed to be the police officer who's handling her case. And like a technicality gets him off it. I think that's selling her out.
Yeah, he's also like, I mean, he takes the check, like, which is one of the most shocking things. When he takes the check for getting the bomb out of the swimming pool, it's so late in the game for him to kind of be...
to make a choice.
For him to be so, like, morally, so wobbly with his morals. By that point in the book, he should kind of... like, a character would usually be on... they would know where they need to go to do to fix this mess. And he's not. You honestly, when Donnell calls him out for being on the take, it's like Donnell's going too far with it, but he's not wrong either. Like, he's spotting somebody who does have that in them.
I was thinking that
and he's seeing,
I was thinking that the doctor from the second chapter was maybe right somehow. Yeah.
It's just like everybody's, just he's just like saying, like, you're a mess. Like, no, it's really kind of interesting because, you know, the standard Elmore Leonard thing is, you know, there's the hero, and then there's the fun bad guy, and then the actual bad guy, and it's like, this is just different than that. This one is like, everybody's much messier than usual, and their morals are much are kind of blurrier.
Yeah.
Because at the end, you have Chris is like, seems like he's kind of fine with Donnell in the end.
Totally.
Where you're like, how's that? Like, this guy is a bad guy, but you're kind of okay with it, which actually doesn't mean Donnell's better than you think. It just means Chris is worse than you think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he sees that Donnell isn't going to cross a line where he's not hurting Woody. He's certainly being selfish around Woody, but he's not hurting Woody, and he actually is protective of him in a pretty specific way. He could have been doing much more harm to Woody the entire time. Now, like, Woody's chauffeur and Woody's gardener and Woody's lawyer, like, they probably would disagree because, like, Donnell sort of like pushed them all away. And so I always took it as Chris. It's like, okay, Donnell's going to try to get into the will. That will happen at some point, but he's not going to kill the guy because he doesn't need to. He's living a really good life. He goes out. It's almost a paternal relationship that Donnell has with Woody. So I think that at the end, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of, and Alex, correct me but where you have these guys starting so opposite and then coming together at the end, because they really do. I mean, they do reach an understanding. Chris and Donnell.
I think it I'd have to think about it. I think it happens, though. I think, like, you know, we've talked about, there's almost a fine line sometimes with the good guy and the bad guy where they're like the same kind, you know, the fun bad guy and the main good guy are like pretty similar in a lot of ways. And like, I'd have to think about which other books share that. But I do agree with Donnell. I mean, when they talk about his rap sheet and it's all just like BS, you know, like cops harassing him stuff, I feel like that makes him a little more endearing, where it's like, he's been arrested 14 times or something, and like they're all just like crap charges.
I mean, look, he does try to put Chris in the hospital.
Just the one leg, yeah.
But it's just one leg.
Yeah.
But even there, like, he could probably get him killed. Do you guys know? Here's the thing. I've read this book a half a dozen times. Do you know who killed Booker?
I was thinking about that a lot this time.
I think it's like the big sleep. I think it's just like a guy dies and he's maybe not connected at all.
But he doesn't just die.
Like, it gets blown up. Like, yeah, he kind of kills himself.
Yeah.
Yes, because someone put dynamite under him.
My takeaway on this was that it just ultimately was that was a good way to introduce just bombs in the thing. Like, it didn't go past that ultimately. Like, I was really kind of hung up on that in parts when it kind of starts to flare back up with Juicy Mouth, and you're just like, oh yeah, and then but it's like, no, it's just like, that's the world. Like, we're in the world, and if you're on the bomb squad, there's going to be more than one bomb, and they're not all connected.
Yeah, I think the way that it does come back up, and where you do have, whether it's Chris or Jerry, wondering about, if there is a connection to, and even Donnell, like when he sees the bomb in the trunk, he's thinking, if there's any connection to, because he knows Juicy and he knows what happened to Booker. But for a minute, like, I remember thinking that I knew who did it, and I don't. But it makes sense that you would think the city of Detroit would have, to have a bomb squad, they would need to have more than one bomb a year. So
it's also funny when you think about it. It's like Donnell just keeps finding the bombs, like he just like he's like Chris is. I mean, Skip is not good at this anymore, because like he notices it in the trunk. He notices the gym bag on the front lawn when he goes to look for the newspaper. Like, he's just like, he's not doing a good job with this, and he blows up the wrong guy.
Yeah, but he's, he never really had to do this. And like, for movies and stuff, it's very clear what he's supposed to do and when he's supposed to do it.
Sure.
And I don't think he's so bad at it. I mean, I don't think he's great at it. But
I think he's good at the building a bomb part of it. He's bad at the hiding a bomb part of it, because, like, I mean, he walks out in the morning, he just sees a bag on the lawn. Like, Donnell just sees, he just sees like a bag that shouldn't be there, and there's a bomb in it. It's just like, that's being bad at this.
That's fair. Okay, so Skip is not in the car with you. Is that?
Skip would not be in the car. Skip actually might be in the car with me, because if we're talking about a ride, Skip might be a good co-pilot.
He's a good hang.
That's what I will agree with you on that. I would say, man, I even think you could put Donnell in the. Now I'm thinking I'd maybe put everybody in the car. I
think we can. God bless Chris, but I think we could say, Chris, we're good.
Chris would be not fun.
He's freaked out by like hummus. Yeah, I don't think he can hang.
Yeah, he's having a hard time with a few things. Like, one of the defining elements of Chris is the whole like hamburger thing. It's like he's kind of like not an interesting guy. He kind of moves from department to department on the police force, and it doesn't seem like that matters exactly to him.
Yeah.
And getting back to being a cop again kind of doesn't seem like it matters that much. Like, he's really...
Right.
He's not a strong hero by any stretch. He's like along for the ride. He's like mediocre. There's a lot of mediocrity in this book. Like, there's a lot of mediocre people in this book. It's like radicals who aren't even good radicals, a bomb maker who's not even a good bomb maker, a cop who's not particularly a good cop. Everybody's like not great.
I think Art would be a good, he could hang. He's got a lot going on. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of times where, so I worked, many years ago, and we don't have to spend too much time on this, but I worked on the movie version of Freaky, and I was really reading the book a lot, and at a certain point, I started obsessing over the idea of Rodney Dangerfield as Art. So now when I read, I think of Rodney Dangerfield as Art, and for me, it works.
Yeah, Art's almost just like, my son. He just seems like there's a lot of that.
He's like, clean yourself up. Why don't you comb your hair?
Just pick me up from the airport, you ingrate. Yeah. Also, just like, I'm giving you my car. I'm giving you my house. I need a ride from the airport. Mm-hmm. Like, come get me. I would maybe be with Skip and Art in the car, and Greta.
But no Robin.
No,
Robin.
You know, my favorite scene, I think, is the Donnell and Woody scene where they're talking about the will and if Woody wants to add anybody else to the will.
So good, yeah.
Yeah, like when he goes through A, B, C, D. That's one of my favorites. Do either of you have a favorite scene?
I like when Chris is finally questioning Robin and talking all about the 60s, and then he just like drops the
Oh, yeah.
the thing that just like, well, what was it like when you were in prison? And he just like that's such a great moment because he's actually the best he is as a cop in the is kind of, I think that's one of his strongest moments is that, and he's kind of ahead for once in this book in that moment.
Yeah.
Like he's operating from behind for so much of it. That's one where he's kind of in charge and doling it out the way he chooses to dole it out.
Right. Yeah. He actually sets the trap, and
that's like the coolest he is in the book is that scene, I would say.
he's got the parking garage is also when Juicy Mouth thinks he has him cornered, and it does not it does not work out. Also, I mean, there is like it wasn't his dad's gun, but he got that gun from his dad. And I don't know if that's a generational thing that Elmore's doing. Just going back to it now, it does jump out at me a little bit. I love any time we hear about like Donnell, like how he worked his way in. And I was going to ask you, Alex, like, is All That Jazz, the bar where Donnell first met Woody, is that a real place? Is that still there, or is that long gone in Detroit?
Not that I know of, but I would always say that All That Jazz was his favorite movie. So I don't know if that was, he just named this bar that.
You're supposed to know everything about every single...
A lot of the places are real. I would imagine it was real, but I don't know it. I looked up the place, the Gnome, where Donnell and Robin meet, and that is a music venue still called the Majestic Cafe.
There's also like a reference to Tishomingo Blues in that scene.
And in Tishomingo Blues, the character Robert Taylor talks about why he likes the movie All That Jazz. So I have no idea why those two things are combined, but they are.
I've got a non-Elmore, non-Freaky Deaky question for you, Tom, if you don't mind indulging. When it comes to radio, YouTube, digital, it feels like you are in a really interesting position, because one of the things that I think the strikes did was, I think it was really the peak of the studio, and I think now more and more people, more and more talented people are going to just do things on their own.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's really brought a lot of people to their come to Jesus moment. What do they want their life and career to actually be?
Yeah.
And do you want to just bang your head against the wall for something that seems to be getting harder, or figure out some version of something that you can actually feel good about your life?
First off, if you I don't know if you know that there's an Elmore biography coming out like next week, and it's really good. It's written by
No, I didn't know that.
I don't know if you've ever read any. There's a biography of John Bonham called Beast, and then there's a Warren Zevon biography. I can't remember the name of it, but they're both written by Chad Cushions. C.M. Cushions is his pen name. He wrote this book. I think it's great, and he got access to a lot of just Elmore's personal writing, and he was working on a memoir and all that stuff. How much time, like how much prep goes into one of your episodes, like one of your like Tuesday night show episodes?
It's honestly, at this point, it's just, I just think about it all week, and then I do the show. It's just like, there isn't like a time when I do show prep. It's a constant. It's just a part of my life. I'm thinking about it all the time.
Does that make it hard to do other stuff, other writing?
No. I'm fine. It all gets done. I can multitask and do one thing one day and another thing another day. I kind of like that part of it. Yeah.
I think one of the things that's like comes out in the book is just Elmore's routine and how diligent he was.
No, he's he's an important person to me. Like,
What?
in a lot of ways.
Do you mind telling me a little more about that?
Sure. I mean, just that he persevered and just went through just a very long time before anything happened. And it's just like, that's amazing. There's so many, everybody gets so caught up in like the Orson Welles type stories of people who were just like, oh, it's 25 and I did this and I did that. And it's just like, no, he was grinding it out, and he worked in advertising, right?
Yeah.
And just like, just writing and just not losing track of the goal, the big goal, and then it lined up at a
Right.
point later than it would for most people. So
Yeah.
there's some version of that, or it's just like that as I get older, it's you're kind of just like the amount of people you can model yourself on or hang on to as a person to just look at as like, well, they did it. It's just like the list gets shorter and shorter because it's just like, oh, well, Phil Hartman joined the cast of SNL when he was 37. It's like, well, that's long gone for me, 37. But
Right.
so it's just like, start getting to where it's just like, who are the people who popped later in life? And it's a pretty short list after a while.
Well, there's this guy. This guy, I don't know his name, but he painted this when he was,
Hokusai?
he was 85, 75?
Oh, when he did that one.
Okay.
But I think he was popular in his lifetime, though.
Not to me. Tom, though, on the other hand, you've done, whether it's television or modern day internet radio spectaculars or directing music videos, you do seem like you get to do just about anything you feel like doing. I don't know if that's the case, but it's really cool that you get to do all
But
that.
I mean, get is a relative concept. I need to pay for things, so
Sure, but
I strike the balance with it. But it's also, people have more control over their stuff than they give themselves credit for, because I certainly am not any kind of exception for things. I just grew up coming out of like self-employed small business stuff, and I just approached this stuff like that, and I'm amazed that it's as look, everybody thinks that like, it's like, of course everybody knows how to do that. It's like, well, no, not everybody grew up where your family's self-employed and you just like are used to some sink and swim thing on a daily basis. Like, but I am, and I just, that part doesn't faze me, but I don't realize how foreign that is for a lot of people.
what kind of small businesses did your family have?
Fencing, putting fences up. My grandfather put fences up, and then my parents had a T-shirt store in New Jersey that my mom still runs it. My dad's not around, but
Okay.
she still does it. Trying to wind it down. I hope.
Like custom prints or like
Yeah, just exactly like little league teams and landscapers and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, no. So, but I mean, just having that as my background, I'm just used to that level of fear running through on a daily basis, that a lot of people are just like, no, you're not supposed to do that. It's like, I'm like walking into the minefield, like, what? It's okay.
Well, you could try conning a vegetable-brained millionaire.
Oh yeah, I would dare to dream. I think I would do well with Woody.
Do you have any other top Elmore books that you like?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Get Shorty is amazing. I think Get Shorty is just like, it's kind of like the access point in a lot of ways for me with the things I'm interested in. What do we got? Stick, love it. City Primeval, love it. Just reread Moonshine War. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, and like I said, Out of Sight and Riding the Rap, to me that's a good combo. And I like Maximum Bob, but yeah, like I actually met Elmore once at a event in New York City. He was doing a thing at Barnes and Noble in the Union Square, And then he went to the Mercury Lounge and did some like thing where he like read, and there was a band on stage. Do you know?
We weirdly just talked about that with the book cover designer Chip Kidd. He did a whole bunch of Elmore books. He's done like, everybody, but he was like, oh yeah, I met Dutch at a venue in Manhattan. And I was like, was it Mercury Lounge? And he goes, that's the one.
Yeah, I was there too.
But,
I was in the audience, and these are the books I got signed. He was very nice to sign things I got. Let's see, here's Rum Punch. I got Rum Punch. I have these in my office. I didn't bring these to my office. I just have these in my office. So there's Rum Punch, nice thing. Nice copy of Stick. Signed. And then also this might be my favorite actually, is Swag. So, and I just think the cover is so
amazing.
Unbelievable. So that was exciting to get to see that. And I I don't remember it, and I remember it. It's like one of those things. What year would that have been? Was it Cuba Libre was out around then, maybe? Right?
I think it may have been around Be Cool.
Okay.
Because he had that band, the Howling Diablos. He had them like write songs that he was going to then put parts of in the book.
Okay.
And so I think that they did a joint show where, he, I think, read a little bit or something, and they played a set.
Yeah, that's what. Well, yeah. I mean, so we're talking 99 then, because yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
same run
right
there.
after Cuba Libre. Yeah.
Okay. No, that I'm happy I did that. And there's somebody who's filming a documentary, I think, also. Were they running? I remember people were following him with cameras.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I got filmed getting my book signed.
Oh.
So, I don't know what they were filming, but out there somewhere is me, sweaty, handing him, asking him to sign my books. Yeah.
You never saw him at like the Edgar Awards or anything like that?
I never saw. I went to the Edgar Awards a bunch for the show Monk that I worked on. We went a handful of times, never won. I don't know what it would. If I would have seen him at he was just like, he just has meant a whole lot to me. And also just the style of thing. Like when I worked on Monk is procedural, but it's in a Sherlock Holmes Columbo model, and my model, there's two lanes in my mind. There's the cerebral, Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, Monk, Columbo, deductive stuff, and then there's the Rockford Files and Elmore Leonard, and it's kind of like the Hang version of things. It's more crime than mystery is what it is, the main distinction. And I always have just been drawn to the crime stuff more just naturally than to the mystery stuff. But I like the mystery stuff a lot, but my favorite stuff is the crime stuff.
Why do you think that is?
Just better characters, honestly, and characters are not as characters can just do different things in the crime thing, like people double crossing people and just like changing motives and stuff like that works in the crime thing much more than it works in the deductive thing, because you're trying to solve a puzzle, and it's kind of unfair to have characters start just pulling 180s in a deductive situation. It would be really unsatisfying, because it's kind of like, okay, we did the thing, now you go solve the thing that we did, and it's like you kind of can't change the rules midstream. Yeah, so that's it. And he was just kind of the number. I never found anybody who ever came even within like 100 miles of doing what he did.
No, he.
I think it's often imitated, but I think it's harder than people think.
Oh my God.
The style seems so simple, but it's really not.
You read certain paragraphs and you're like, this is like, it's just so dense and loose, but completely in control also. It's just they're all just, and just the way he shifts like point of view in the most subtle way, it's inconceivable sometimes.
With Freaky, and some of it is because people are really, really messed up. And you feel that. You feel like not only their point of view, but when their point of view is like impaired or not, and it's super impressive. Have you written a book? Would you ever want to write a book?
I wrote a memoir a few years ago. But
not fiction.
Not fiction. No, at some point I will. I just I'm kind of working through a couple other paths first. I'm gonna try to write another book this year, like a small music themed book. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that, and then do another memoir thing, and then after that, I want to try to do fiction stuff. So.
Well, the memoir is great. I read it.
Oh, thank you.
How long have you been in LA?
6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah, since '99.
Here's what I think would make a great, if you're looking for ideas for a novel. Okay. I got one I'm going to throw at you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Have you been to Kohl's?
Kohl's, the makeup store? Which is Kohl's?
Kohl's is a bar downtown, and it's been there forever. They claim to have invented the French dip sandwich.
I know where that is. Yes, I have been.
They had the Varnish Room. Do you know the Varnish Room at all?
No.
It's like their little speakeasy behind the bar, and they have some really good music there. A buddy of mine used to play piano there on Monday nights. We tried to get him to do the theme song, but Alex didn't like it. So, sorry, Jamie.
Hey, it's not called show friendship.
Exactly.
Business.
Well, I did have a friend. My friend in Protomartyr did the music.
No. It's way better. Again, sorry, Jamie. But about half a mile away, there's Philippe's. Have you been to Philippe's?
Philippe's is where I definitely have been. Yes.
Okay. So Philippe's also claims to have invented the French dip sandwich.
See, that's the mistake I made, because you were saying Kohl's. I was like, no, I know I've been where the French dip sandwich was created, but I was at Philippe's, not
There's
Kohl's.
your novel.
Okay.
There's your novel.
Except that's like every famous thing, like, you know, the Irish coffee. It's like multiple places claim it. Like the Cobb salad. I don't know why.
Well, that could be the sequel, but I'm just saying, like...
I'm just going to say, Judd, what you need to be doing is...
Yeah.
You need to be inventing the next thing, not worrying about where something else was invented. You gotta come up with the next sandwich.
I got to come up with my own sandwich.
Yeah.
You're right. Thanks, Tom.
Let people 100 years ago be talking about where you invented that sandwich.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the French soap.
The French
You're leaving
soap.
it in for longer. Yeah.
You got a clear path on that one.
I will also cut this from the podcast so no one steals this idea.
No, you don't want anybody taking that.
No, this is gold.
Yeah.
I know we don't have a ton of time, but anything else in particular that you think we should cover, and while we have you, I know you've got some other stuff coming up.
No, it's really exciting to get to do this, and it's exciting that you're doing this podcast, and because it's easy for these figures to kind of like, not even like, they slowly start to drift out of awareness, and even now it's like there are less Elmore Leonard books in stores than it used to be. And that's just a matter of like shelf space and whatever, the times and all the stuff, and he's the only one. There's like, well, he's one of one, and the stuff needs to not get lost to time.
I do think that, I mean, similar to Dashiell Hammett or Carver or Edith Wharton, I mean, people are going to always, hopefully they're never forgotten about, but I think the work is so good that people are always going to be sharing it and discovering it. But it's fun to talk about. Do you know, Tom, that there is a new Elmore Leonard book, or a discovered Elmore Leonard book that's going to be released in the fall?
No, I did not know that. When was it written?
1970.
Wow.
It was discovered in the writing of the biography.
And is it?
Tom just fell out of his chair. He was so shocked.
I knocked my microphone in rapture. What was the genre for it?
I think it's got some similarities to like Mr. Majestic.
Okay.
I think is
Yeah, it's kind of proto elements of that. So yeah, it's a little less loose than his slightly later crime stuff. Not quite as fun as like Swag or one of those, but the writing quality is excellent. It's kind of more for fans, I would say, because he would write these kind of treatments for stuff, and this is some of his treatments would be like 20 or 30 pages, and this one's like over 100, so it's way more in depth. But it has it's like the first couple of acts of a plot.
Okay, that's amazing. What's it called?
Picket Line.
Oh, cool. That's amazing. Now, completely between us, and you can please, what was the...
We're live, by the way.
Oh, we're live. Perfect. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I had a good run. What was the, because like in Swag, right? In Swag, all that stuff kind of felt like it always showed up in Pulp Fiction, right? Isn't that fair to say? Like...
Yeah, like the robbers, like robbing the guy who's trying to, like
what was the perception of that? It almost felt like Jackie Brown was like hey, I've taken 100 things from you, and now I'm going to pay you for one of them. Is what that, in my mind, and I mean, I know that's not how things work, but karmically it felt like that, where it's like, I owe you such a debt that I'm going to adapt one of your books now and make it official.
I mean, I think maybe because Tarantino was so open about being inspired, maybe it was like less of a theft.
Okay.
And, Jackie Brown's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think maybe if it wasn't like most of the other adaptations, he would have complained about it.
He does We just did Out of Sight, and in Out of Sight, he talks about Pulp Fiction. And so... I think whatever he may have felt, I think he did get over it. But
okay, I was just curious as an inside baseball kind of thing, because it's just like sometimes you just want to go like, holy shit, don't you people know this was in another book 20 years earlier? Like, yeah, like somebody else was doing this. That's all. It's just always kind of like. Because these things happened in the books, and then they happen in a movie, and then people think the order of things gets lost in terms of just like, no, this is the guy who was coming up with that stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The only other thing is my favorite Elmore Leonard line is, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it's just like, and it applies so much in life when it's just like to different types of people, where it's like the difference between like a drunk and a drug addict is that like, a drunk will steal your wallet, but a junkie will steal your wallet, then help you look for it. And I'm not sure where that's from, but I kind of never forgot that. It's kind of helped me through my life in terms of personality types.
Well, we're going through the books. If we when we find that line,
please,
we'll call
let me know exactly where it is. I cannot remember.
Tom, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Man, thanks for having me. This is truly special.
The Elmore Leonard Podcast is produced and edited by Judd Rubin. Music by Greg Ahee. Hosted by Judd Rubin and Alex Leonard. Executive produced by Peter Leonard. Copyright 2025, Elmore Leonard Inc. Please visit us at elmoreleonardofficial.com or send us an email at hello@theelmoreleonardpodcast.com.